When it comes to real estate YouTube ads, there are 6 different types of ads that can absolutely kill it in virtually any local market. In this video, I'm breaking down the 6 different types and everything you need to create them in 15 minutes or less. Now, before we go over anything that has to do with the actual frameworks and templates themselves, you need to understand how to actually create the ads themselves. So number 1, non-negotiable, you need to do your market research. Figure out the local market conditions. What's the current inventory, the price trends, the interest rates, all that kind of stuff. And then you can move into the next step, which is the demographic analysis, because then you can have a better understanding of who's moving to your area and why are they moving to your area. And the local market conditions that you just researched can apply to the demographic analysis. These 2 things are the most important things when it comes to market research. And if you find to be a little bit scattered once you have all this information, go to a competitor's landscape. Figure out what other agents are promising and what they're delivering. And I wouldn't say go to your agent 2 doors down for this. You can, but if they're running YouTube ads, I would suggest going to someone in a different state, going to the Google Ads Transparency Center, Facebook Ads Library, see what people are running as far as video ads are going, and make sure, here's a little tip, that they've been running ads for over 30 days, because if they've been running it for over 30 days, chances are what they're doing is working. Step number 2, crafting messaging buckets. Now, this is subjectively different as far as the definition goes for a couple of different people, but messaging buckets essentially are just individualized subsets of your target audience. They're little subgroups of your ideal customer profile. So if you work with sellers, for example, there are people that are going into foreclosure. There are, tired landlords. There are people behind on mortgage payments. There's a different types of groups of people that you need to identify, because you want to be able to focus on the situations and problems that they're facing that make them need your product and service and how you actually solve their product and service. So now once you have your market research and your messaging buckets, you can apply this and start creating your actual ads. So the first framework we have is the pain, agitate, solve framework. So basically the hook starts off with the pain. So remind your audience the pain that they're feeling. So let's say you're working with sellers and one of your messaging buckets is people going in foreclosure. Remind your audience of the pain that they're feeling. What comes with foreclosure? A ton of different things, right? And then what you'll do is you'll go into the agitate part of the body of your ad. This makes them feel it on a deeper level. What you can do is just list out all of these different pain points, all the different angles, different types of things that are associated with the pains. You can double down on the things you've already listed. You can provide different angles, whatever you need to do to make them feel it on a deeper level. And then finally, solving all of these pains and introducing your offer and service and how it actually addresses and solves their pain specifically. So number 2, we have the feel, felt, found framework. Now this is really good for resonating with your specific ideal customer profile. The first thing you want to do is introduce the hook, which is, I know how it feels, okay? You want to resonate with their pain and you want to address to them that you know how it feels, and transition into the second part, which is that you felt the exact same way. Okay, and this is going to create resonance with both of them. And then this is where the authority takes in on part number 3, which is how part of the body, it could be part of your call to action, how you actually solved the problem that they actually experience. And this is where you introduce your product or service. And for number 3, you have the picture, promise, prove, push framework. Say that 4 times fast. Number 1, in the hook, you're going to introduce the picture. So paint the picture of your ideal customers or your customer's ideal life, right? Getting top dollar for their home in as little amount of time as possible for any sort of seller, right? Promise, so show how your product will actually deliver on that. Introduce the promise. And then you can also introduce the promise by the proving section. This is where you're showing your case studies, your testimonials. It worked for people previous, exactly in your condition, and it will actually work for you. And then the push is just pushing on the CTA. Book a call with me. Let's talk. Download my lead magnet, whatever it is that you have that's going to push them to take action. Now for number 4, we have the before-after bridge formula. This is one of my favorites. I just naturally write in this way, so it makes the most sense. And basically, what you're going to do is you're going to show your customer's current problem, similar to other things we've been doing before, but like we did in the previous framework, the picture, promise, prove, push, we're then going to paint the picture. Okay? Show them a life where their problem is solved, the aftermath, right? This is the dream life. This is shown actually in the middle of your ad. And then finally, the bridge. So present your offer, service, solution as the answer to their specific problems. And then have the call to action, book a call, whatever. And number 5, we have the AIDA framework, the AIDA framework, right? So A, grab their attention with a bold statement. I, spark interest with the solution. Then D, build the desire, showing the specific benefits. And then A, asking them to take further action. And then finally, coming in at number 6, the final framework that I have to share with you, one of my absolute favorites, top performers, is the case study story format. So what I typically do here, there's a couple ways you can approach this, but what I found works best for my clients is first going like, I had a problem with X, it hurt because Y. I tried to solve it with Z, but nothing works until I found B solution, right? And now my life is super easy. Now, obviously, you're not going to say it exactly like that, but you get the point. You start off with introducing the problem that you originally had. It hurt because X, Y, and Z. So it's almost like a combination of a bunch of the different frameworks, right? You have a problem. This is addressing that you know your specific ideal profile. It hurt because this is going to resonate with that ideal customer. And then you actually tried to solve it with X, right? Things that they've already tried to do. This is further building that trust, but nothing's working until they finally found X or B, Y, D, whatever variable solution. And now my life is super easy, right? This works absolutely well. You can take a screenshot of this. I would highly suggest you use this in your videos. Now for the next steps, once you actually have the frameworks, you have to get into recording. So what I find, and I tell most agents to start doing, is just using this simple recording setup. An iPhone camera, teleprompter app with a lavalier mic, and just using some natural lighting. You can use things like DSLR cameras to get higher quality. You can use a wireless DJI mic for good audio quality. But a lavalier mic will work fine as long as it's decent. And natural lighting is really good to start. You can add things like artificial softbox lighting and stuff as you increase your budget and you get more and more deals. But honestly, an iPhone teleprompter, lavalier, natural lighting combo will literally work a ton better than just doing nothing at all. And then finally, in the post-production phase, with the editing of the actual video, you're going to do things like fast pacing and cuts. This is just going to make your videos punchy, keep the retention high. And then if that's not also working, you can also do things like a raw or uncut version. It also depends on the type of demographic you're going to be showing your ads to. What I find works really well is adding flashy, creative B-roll. What this is, or animations, all that kind of stuff, motion graphics, anything that can convey your point in an easy visual way, right? You want to provide that visual experience and make it as easy as possible to convey your message so that it makes the ideal customer say to themselves, this person knows exactly what I'm going through and they can solve my exact problems because they're putting the effort in to be able to address me. And then finally, like I said before, B-roll, you can also add things like if you have your own custom B-roll, that's going to really do well, especially in like if you're doing area call outs. And just using high quality 1080p B-roll, you can use things like Pexels for free or Artlist if you want some more premium B-roll. Now that you have the ads set up and you've recorded them, you need to understand how to actually create the campaigns. And luckily for you, I've created an entire video on that. It's going to be in the description below. It's going to show you exactly how to create the entire funnel from the ads themselves to the landing pages to the follow-up systems and everything you need to know. So go check that out. But other than that, that's all I got for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.